streets of Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, are calm after the jubilations that greeted news of Robert Mugabe's resignation Tuesday evening. The news was all over the papers Wednesday morning, very unusual for a country that has had only one president since its 1980 independence. Former Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa is expected to return to Zimbabwe today and will be sworn in as president on Friday. Mnangagwa's sacking prompted the army to seize power, after which the ruling party, the ZANU-PF, ditched Mugabe and chose Mnangagwa as its leader. In the week the drama played out, Zimbabwe's stock market shed nearly a third of its value, with investors dumping stocks.
To date, I think we have lost north of 4 billion in terms of market capitalization. Are we still going down? In my view, yes, there's still a lot of downside. We might actually see the market, we believe the market is going to bottom down somewhere inside of 10 billion. And we still have got a few days more to go before we see stability coming back to the market. Right now we are staring into real possibilities that probably will see changes on the policy front. There are possibilities that we might actually see changes on the indigenization front, tax laws and so forth. So if you look at that in the long term, I think this is very good for companies.
I suspect that everyone knows that fixing the economy is a very, very urgent issue. Giving confidence to the young people without jobs, giving confidence to the investors, working with the rest of the world so that whatever we can get from anywhere in order to get our country going once again.
A lawyer, Santoma Joel, is joining us now via Skype from London. Thank you for joining us.
Me?
Well, it was a joyous, historic, momentous day for Zimbabweans yesterday. Did Mugabe see this coming, of this sort of jubilation coming in a million years?
Thank you. I would imagine that former President Mugabe would be very, 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 very sad to see the number of people who were very happy with his exit. Before now, he had always thought that he's the well-loved man in Zimbabwe, and everyone in Zimbabwe wanted him to remain as president, and that was why he arrogantly said he will continue to rule even to death. But what happened yesterday would actually tell him the other side of the world. Many people were happy, the Zimbabweans were happy. I don't know if it's a victory for Zimbabweans, but they were obviously very happy with the event of yesterday.
Indeed, Santoma. Let's talk about some concerns that this landmark shift might generate, which is already generating among analysts. What are your hopes? What are your concerns after Mnangagwa takes over?
Well, remember, Mr. Mnangagwa is not an angel, whilst considering his antecedents. Essentially, this is just like a second chance for him to redeem his name. He has a huge job in his hands to actually solve the pervasive poverty in Zimbabwe. The Zimbabweans are hopeful that a new government is coming, is a new dawn for them. Whether or not Mr. Mnangagwa is going to deviate from the oppression of the former president, Mr. Mugabe, who he happened to be his ally, his very good friend. That is what we are looking to see. For Mr. Mnangagwa to actually bring in policies that will make the country turn a new leaf, he has to introduce some intellectuals in his cabinet. And we'll be looking for him to have people like Tendai Biti, which was the former finance minister in the country. So we're hopeful, and everyone is invested in this, and we're hopeful that Zimbabwe shall take a new leaf.
Well, in spite of all the jubilation that greeted Mugabe's resignation yesterday, we do know that he implemented some great reforms, one of which include the land reforms, which the EFF of South Africa have asked that those remain. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's done a lot of things for Zimbabwe, but what is very concerning is that the former president, Mr. Mugabe, actually squandered all his legacies. He almost squandered all before he resigned. He shouldn't have done that at all. The health system in Zimbabwe is almost non-existent. The currency is non-existent. Even the land reform that you're talking about, some of these lands that he took from the white owners, he gave to his allies, he gave to his friends, and none of them are even in use now. Okay, we understand that he reversed the Lancaster Agreement because the British government reneged from their own agreement. He's done a lot, he did a lot of things, but unfortunately, he squandered his legacies.
And with Grace Mugabe being termed as ambitious and power-hungry over the years, officials of the ZANU-PF have also banned her from the party for life. Is this the end of Grace in Zimbabwe? Is this the end of her influence?
Well, with regards to her influence, this is the end of her influence for now. The ZANU-PF has banned her for life. We don't know if she's going to come up with another party, but I believe where Grace Mugabe is today, she will be regretful of her activities, the role she played in making sure that the remaining legacies of Mr. Mugabe was squandered.
And tainted. Well, do you think the next leader in Mnangagwa can deliver a broad-based governance?
This is the opportunity he has, and for him to, for his position to be legitimized, he has to actually hold a free and fair election, because this was a man who actually spearheaded the killing of over 20,000 people, 20,000 oppositions. So he has the second chance, and it will be left for him. He's a smart man. He's a smart man, as you may well know what his nickname is. We believe that he will bring in policies that will redeem. Yes, he will bring in policies that will redeem his country from this pervasive poverty that they are going through now.
And what can African leaders learn from this story?
Oh, I am so hopeful that the baton will be, shifted to the likes of Cameroon, the likes of Uganda, Equatorial Guinea, Togo, whose one family has led for over 50 years, DRC and Atoll. This is just to tell the African leaders who thought they had the freedom of ruling indefinitely that it can't always be business as usual. There is no need for you to continue to be there. Your family is not the only family that can rule the country. You can actually bring in a democracy, a valid democracy, in order to empower your people and not for just your selfish interest. Whether or not they're going to learn from this process, we shall see.
Santoma Joel, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on the News Hour.
Thank you very much for having me.